friends, what's up? It's Miss A. It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another family night craft brought to you by Northeast Branch of the Reading Public Library. And this week we are going to be making our final Earth Month craft of the month. And it's one I've been looking forward to. So if you didn't know this, I love mushrooms. They're so cute. And we are going to be making a recycled mushroom craft out of egg cartons. So if you've been to the Northeast Branch in the past month and a half or so, we've been collecting egg cartons that all of you wonderful patrons have been donating. Your bags, if you pick up a Go Pack at the Northeast Branch of the Reading Public Library, should have an egg carton, some red paint, a paintbrush, and a white acrylic paint marker. So you can pick up a Go Pack to do this craft, or you can just get those materials from home. You'll also need a pair of scissors to make this craft and glue to attach a stem to your mushroom top. So if you have it, I think hot glue definitely works the best for this craft. You could also use, I think masking tape would be a close second. Tacky glue is good. If you have an adult super glue it, that could work. But if you use regular school glue, tacky glue, you're just going to want to hold it for a while. Scotch tape is another option. But anyway, once you have your supplies, let's get started on this week's craft. All right, so I have my materials ready. The first thing I'm going to do is rip the parts of the egg carton apart if they aren't already. I do think in most of the bags I've already ripped them, but I'm going to do this to mine now. Put this part to the side. And now for one mushroom, I'm going to cut out one of these little cups. And I'll do that with my scissors. Once you have your individual cup, you want to trim this excess stuff around the bottom so it looks nice and round. Once your cup is out, you want to put on a piece of paper or something. I'm actually just going to do this over the other cups I'm not using. You're going to paint this red. You'll use your red paint and your paintbrush. This is acrylic paint, so it won't come out of clothes, so be careful with it. Wear some old shirt or something that you don't mind if it gets a little dirty. Okay, so once it's red, leave it to dry. If you don't like how it looks when it dries, you might want to add a second coat of red paint, but you'll have to see how opaque or how bright the red color is after it dries and then decide. Okay, so I've waited a few minutes. My cup is nice and dry, so now I'm going to add some white spots. So you want to take your white acrylic paint pen. When you first open it up, there'll be like a plastic wrap on it, so take that off, and you want to shake it. You'll have to shake it for a while. And then what'll happen is the tip at first will be sort of not quite as opaque white, so you'll need to basically press it, like dot it a couple times against a piece of paper, paper towel, something you don't care about, until the paint starts coming out. So it'll travel down this felt tip from the paint tube to the tip. So you'll dot it sort of like this. Like I said, I've already activated this, so you can see the paint's already coming out. So you can paint inside if you want, but for now, I'm just going to paint some white dots on the outside. Okay, so I've finished doing the white dots. So as you can see, this is also acrylic paint, that white paint in the pen. So make sure you leave this to dry for a couple of minutes. And I think one coat should be enough with this, just like with the red paint, but if it's not, then just wait for it to dry and then add another coat. But I'm going to set this to dry at the side. Okay, so set that aside, and then you are going to cut this long side of your egg carton off. So you'll be left with a long strip. You don't necessarily have to use the whole thing, but I've cut a whole thing off, and I'm going to paint one side white. All right, so I painted this white. Honestly, it was a little tricky. I'd say maybe do it on the harder side instead. I did the softer one thinking I wouldn't have to go over type, but it was actually crumbling apart as I painted it. So I would recommend painting on the outer side instead of the inner side. I think it would actually be easier. But anyway, so the next step is when we're going to use our hot glue gun. And I also just wanted to point out, if you're using the inside, you don't actually need to paint it white, it's just a preference. I wanted the white to match the white dots on the red cap, but you could also do a tan one, it's up to you. But what you're going to do is, if you painted it, roll with the side that's painted down, and you want to roll it in so we can make our stem. And you'll just roll until it's the size you want, and then cut. You don't have to use the whole piece if it's bigger than you want it to be. For reference, you know what, I think I'll use the whole thing for mine. Okay, so I'm going to start by snipping off this extra bit. Now what I'm actually going to do is get some hot glue and secure it. And then I'm going to hot glue the inside of this to the inside of the cap. And I will be right back. Okay, so let's zoom in here. So I glued it on, and it actually was pretty short for my mushroom cap. So what I did was I rolled up a second piece of egg carton and hot glued it on. So I'm going to paint over that right now. Let's see if the paint marker works or if I'm going to have to pull out some paintbrushes. All right, so here is our finished little mushroom. I think he's awfully cute. Let's get a better look. Okay, so here is our finished little mushroom craft. I hope you make a lot of these with your egg carton. You could definitely make quite a few with just one egg carton, and then if you get more at home, you can make more of them. But they look really cute nestled on a bookshelf. You can put them into the top of a potted plant. You can just dot them around your room for a little bit of cute nature vibes. But thanks for joining us for this craft, and I hope to see you next Wednesday for another Family Night craft brought to you by the Northeast Branch of Reading Public Library. Bye, friends.